Hello, everybody. This is Teacher Levy. Today, we'll be making another slow English video. This time, I am back to the trail where I have filmed before, the bicycle trail. I am also taking the dog for a walk. So I will show you her skills. I have trained her, so hopefully I can demonstrate later or soon. I need to grab her leash. So I want to demonstrate, notice demonstrate, what tricks she knows on leash. We can say when the dog is on leash, on the leash. We can say on leash and off leash. So I'll showcase that when she's on leash, she can walk right next to me. You can see she came right back. And then, if I stop, she's supposed to come back as well. But now she doesn't want to. So, sometimes I'll stop and she comes back. Not now. She doesn't want to. So, anyways, today we'll talk about natural disasters. Notice natural disasters. Zakia, a great supporter, notice supporter, which is fine. We can understand you if you say supporter, but we can also practice saying supporter. Zakia, one of my great supporters, commented that I should make a video about natural disasters. For example, hurricanes or wildfires, volcanoes, tornadoes, typhoons. These are different depending on where you live. We had hurricanes in Connecticut. Notice Connecticut. So we had hurricanes and snowstorms and notice little flooding, but nothing serious. I know that Vietnam has more serious flooding. I had many students from Vietnam, and I noticed that some of you are from Vietnam. So maybe in Ho Chi Minh they have the big floods there. So also, before we talk about natural disasters, I want to introduce a new word, perhaps, for you, or to remind you of a word you can use for walking or going for a walk by yourself or with your dog. Obviously, you can say dog walking, walking my dog. But if you go by yourself, I want to share another word you can use. This will be the synonym challenge or the synonym game. I have talked about the importance of using and learning synonyms. So that's what we'll do. I will show you. So that is the vocabulary, the synonym. You can say I'm walking, I'm strolling. Now, strolling is a little different. Notice little different. Strolling is a casual walk, usually for pleasure. And walking is just the action. But if you're going for a morning walk, like me, you can go for, or you can say, I'm going for a morning stroll. Morning stroll. I took a walk. I took a stroll. In the morning, in the evening, took a stroll. So try to use that one. I'm sure many of you go for walks. Next time you're writing in your journal or talking to a teacher or a friend in English, you can say, I went for a stroll. I took a stroll on the trail next to my condo. A condo is similar to an apartment. We can have an apartment building. We can have a condo complex. So let's get back to natural disasters and how to ask for help, because Zakia also said that. How can we ask for help? In some places, you call the police if there are really serious tornadoes or hurricanes or natural disasters. All right, so finally I'm making some progress with the dog, but not much progress. So you can say an animal or a person is a fast learner or a slow learner. So some of you might know fast learners and slow learners. So about natural disasters and how to ask for help. Let's talk about help first, and then we can go into some different types of natural disasters. Obviously, notice obviously, for help, you would call the police. If somebody is injured, you would call the ambulance. You could also call the police. Every country might be different on who you call, but I think the police is always a good choice. Calling the police, asking for help. You should also help your neighbor. Notice neighbor. You should also help your neighbor, and hopefully you can ask for help from your neighbor. That is why it is good to have a good connection or to be on good grounds with your neighbor. To be on good grounds with your neighbor means you're on good terms. You're on good grounds. You're on good terms. You get along. During times of trouble, perhaps you can ask them for help and they will help you. And they might ask you for help and you will hopefully help them with whatever they need. In Connecticut, we had hurricanes in the winter, which would lead to a lot of snow. Sometimes 2 feet of snow, sometimes more, and the power would go out. So if you lose electricity, you can say the power went out. The power went out. Notice went out. The power went out, so we had no electricity. Some people had generators. What's a generator? It's a device, a machine, which you fuel, notice fuel, with gasoline, with gas. The British, they say petrol. With gasoline, and it makes or produces electricity so you can have power for your house or part of your home. For example, maybe your refrigerator or turning on your lights, keeping the lights on, and other uses you can use the generator for. So people during these snowstorms, hurricanes, who had a generator would have backup power. Backup, because if you don't have power, you can use your backup power source, which is your generator. Some people had solar panels, though I don't know how efficient those are. If there's a lot of snow on them, obviously, they might not collect energy and make electricity from the sun, so I'm not sure. There are also wind turbines. I knew one person growing up who had a wind turbine. I will put a picture of a wind turbine. That might still work. It would be very windy during a storm, so that should probably make even more electricity. About wildfires, I want to touch on, to mention, or to speak about is to touch on. So wildfires are different from fires, regular fires, because they spread quickly. Usually they're difficult to control, or sometimes near impossible. Almost impossible. We can say near impossible to control, and they can devastate an area, as we saw recently in California, and before that in Hawaii as well. I think the best thing to do if there's a wildfire heading towards you is to leave, to evacuate. An emergency exit when you have to leave quickly, abruptly, we can say to evacuate the area. Leave and go to a safer place is probably your best bet. Notice, best bet is your best choice or your best option, your best bet. So some of you might remember the magical forest. It's very messy to get in there. I'm sure she would like to go, but not today. Maybe next time we can, but not today. So another fairly common or pretty common event is flooding. Flooding when you have so much rain that rivers overflow. When there's too much water in a river bed, we have talked about, I think, a stream bed, maybe also riverbed on the videos. Then the water overflows, goes out onto other areas, maybe the street. Very nice flowers, wild flowers. The rivers, the lakes can overflow. The water can reach cities, towns, and flood different areas, which is very dangerous. A very sudden flood, they call a flash flood. Flash flood. I haven't had any significant experiences with flooding. Everyone's experienced smaller floods, I think, but nothing too severe, like in some places where there is more rain, perhaps tropical areas experience more flooding. So her leash snapped. There were already a lot of bite marks, and this was already a very torn up leash. You can see, we can say torn up. So now we'll head back. She needs to get a new leash. And the last thing I'll say is that these videos are designed for you to improve your listening comprehension, to work on your pronunciation, and they are not a substitute. Notice substitute or a replacement. They are not a substitute. They are not a substitute for speaking. You still need to speak to yourself or to a teacher, a friend. I have speaking classes available in the link in my description. you can book a lesson. I highly recommend shadowing for pronunciation and continue your reading, your writing exercises. Everything comes together, and then you can see faster improvement. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know any other suggestions. I saw the one about hospitals. I want to do that as well. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully soon. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.